Caratoes, how are you? Thanks for joining me.
Hi Jack. Thank you for having me
Of
here.
course, of course. No, I've just been, I don't know, you probably don't remember, but we met super briefly when you were in Melbourne at the Everfresh exhibition. And ever since I've been following your work and just seeing all the incredible magical creations across all the different mediums that you've been doing. Inspirational, really.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what were you doing in Melbourne?
Was it like last year or which time, which year was it?
It would have been last year, probably six
It was
months
last year.
ago.
Oh, really? Damn. Wow, it's only 6 months ago. It feels like forever. Um, I was there with my friends from Silly Creacion, and we were like doing a show for a Rising Festival.
Oh,
So
right.
yeah. Did you go?
No, but was that with all the big giant puppet kind of things?
Yeah, we made like a giant crazy puppet bus that like everybody could like go inside and puppeteer it from the inside out while they were doing
Incredible.
like live performances things outside. Yeah, it was super cool. Yeah, I really feel like I got to see another side of Melbourne, aka the boatyard where we built the bus for a month.
It looked incredible. Like I saw, I mean, everyone's Instagram was just filled with these big psychedelic, playful creatures and stuff. And were you just kind of on a team, or was that kind of directed by you?
That wasn't directed by me. I was actually like helping out my friends. Like
Mm.
it was like Ponsili Creacion, like my twin bestie friends, like yeah, they were doing it and I was like helping them out with building and performing.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. You really strike me as just like a fearless creative. There's no medium that you don't kind of dabble in. You just painting large, painting small, installation, sculpture, performance. Yeah, that's just awesome. It's so cool to see. Just an explosion of creativity.
Yeah, thank
And
you. Yeah.
and speaking of, what are you working on the moment? I've just been loving your Instagram stories. You're in the middle of the desert, cactuses everywhere. It's like a cartoon scenario of just like perfect desert
Yeah.
setting. You're welding, you're building giant sculptures. What's going on?
Well, like you say, I like to learn how to work a new medium. So every project that I do, I try to challenge myself with something that I've never done before.
Hmm.
Like that was like when I was doing murals, every time I do mural, I'll be like, I give myself a new technique or a new topic or a new color to work with. And then like after like so many years, I was like, okay, let's let's see what else I can do. And then I start doing it in three-dimensional things. Because I was like, like when you work in such a big scale, you are basically creating a universe and I like that you want to invite people in, but then I felt like the two dimensions sometimes is quite limiting. So then I started making things three-dimensional where people could actually walk through it. And then yeah, and then I was like, well, since I made the environment, maybe I should do the performance too, so we could activate it and you could see more the universe with sound and movement. And then now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, let's make something that because like when I make my installations mostly out of paper and found objects, but now I was like, let's make something that can last longer. So
Yeah.
now I post the material metal because I've actually never really worked with metal before, but everybody was always like, you love metal, like it's like paper sheets but made of metal would last longer. But I was like, yeah, but I don't know how to weld and I don't know how to cut things. And then now this beautiful project came along where they were like, hey, you want to make a metal sculpture here in the desert? and we have a welding master that can teach you anything you want, and he'll be your right hand, and you guys can make this together. And I was like, what? That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And yeah, I've been here just learning how to work with this incredible material, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I can't stop thinking about
So what are you building,
it.
and where are you and what are you building? What is the sculpture?
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm in Baja California. That's just like a little peninsula of Mexico.
Ah, right.
I'm in a specific, yeah, I didn't know that Mexico had a peninsula actually. But so I'm like in the little tippity tip almost called Ventana, and it's a really small little village. Like there's barely anything here. It's like one street, but they have this beautiful restaurant called Polvaro, and they are hosting me here because they have this giant land of cacti, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to build something here?" And like they were like, "We're thinking something like the worm creature in Dune," and I was like, "Dude, yes." And so, but I'm making like my own version of it. So like I don't know if you know, but I love to build dragons and serpent things, like in the story of the Uruburos, which I make dragon and serpent parts all over the world, so they would connect all together. So that's kind of what I'm doing here now too. I'm making like a desert version of the dragon serpent creature, but with a whale twist on it, because this place is also next to the ocean, where I think the place where one of the most amount of diversity of like whale life passes through here. So even like the first week we went on this boat and I saw like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of whales, like gray whales.
Wow.
Like like it was incredible. And then one of them just like swam straight to our boat. And when he saw us, he swam to us and then he like rotated herself. So like she was like belly up and she like was waiting for us to rub her belly. Like it was insane to see like this giant flipper like rotate out of the water, and that's how you could see how huge she was, and then she would just like stay right there and let us rub her like for a good like 6 minutes or something like that. Like I was like screaming because I was like, oh my god,
Oh,
it
I
was
would
incredible. And
absolutely
the
die. I
tail, he
love
just,
that. That's amazing.
yeah. And I was like, okay, this is my inspiration. I need to make something like based on just seeing one element of the creature. And then with that, you kind of can estimate or guess how ginormous that creature is. So that's kind of what I'm doing here in the desert too, where I'm just like making like a little arc, and then a little further down, I'll make a giant tail that comes out, basically. And it's also a music instrument because I love, besides making sculptures, I also want to like to make spaces for people to like be together and spend time together. So I like that, like when you go to the ocean and it's full with whales, you can hear all the songs and all the clicking and things like that. So I will like make it so people can just come and share their whale songs inside of it. Like it will be partially also an instrument that you can play on the inside, so people can hang
Incredible.
out.
Far out. That sounds such a awesome project. So it's at the
Yeah.
back of a restaurant, is it? Kind of in just the landscape next to the restaurant?
Yeah, yeah, because they have like this giant plot of land, which is like full with all the cacti, with this enormous cacti, and the restaurant just in the beginning, and they're planning to like make it into like a kind of sculpture garden thing. So
Mm,
they want to activate more of the space too, so people can come and do things. Because it's a very small village and there's honestly not so much around. So I love that they're like just besides making the best food ever, They also like want to provide spaces and places for people to share community here, which
Fantastic.
yeah, which I'm like, yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you were mentioning before about you often make works about dragons and stuff, and I love your mural work. There's so many different a lot of portraits, a lot of hands, multiple eyes, which is so cool. But yeah, your sculptural work and installation work seems to have much more of this kind of I don't know, mythology towards it, or these kinds of beast creations or things. What would you say? Maybe you could just give us an overview of what is your work about? What kind of you mentioned before about creating a universe. What is the universe that you're creating for the viewer?
Um, well, I would say that the universe I'm creating is definitely my universe because I feel like, growing up, like it was kind of tough. And then what I just started doing was just like escapism. I would just like draw all the time. Like we weren't really allowed to like leave the house when we were growing up. So out of my mom was like very scared of the world. As and so like I just spent so much time with my three other siblings like locked in the house, and I would just like draw and read a lot of books, and it was just kind of like drawing my universe that I could like flee to in my mind, because I feel like I could already sense from then on like a piece of blank paper that's like a blank universe, and I could like fill it up with whatever I want, you know. And the more control I got over it, the better. I just felt better every time when I make a drawing. And I feel like that hasn't changed at all. Like I feel like with my paintings and my murals and everything that I do, like I'm trying to figure out how to be here in this
Mhm.
world. Kind of like give myself like this is the world of like how my emotions look like, I guess.
Right.
And I don't know either always how I'm feeling or how it looks like until like I'm in the flow and it just like comes out and I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. Like I'll just, like it's just like this weird thing of just observing myself creating this colors and the shapes that I feel safe in. And I'm so grateful for it because um yeah, and like especially my first installation, it was like I could like allow people inside my world of emotions, and just seeing my friends and people walk through it and not judging me for it. I think that was really like a really huge healing and turning point for me, I guess. And I think since then I'm like, okay, if people don't not gonna judge me for such dark feelings, okay, let's and they and they kind of like love it, let's delve deeper into this. And um yeah, I don't know. I just I feel like what I make, like I just like put all my stuff around me, all the tools that I have, and then I just be like, okay, just I surrender my body to my mind, I guess, or like reverse and just be like, okay, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to create, I have the whole all days, all weeks just for you, just to be here, sit here, and just like do whatever you feel like. And and I'll be like, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. I kind of like have this conversation with myself, like be like, show me whatever you want to show me how you're feeling, and then it just comes out. And so with the dragon thing, it was another thing like that. I just like felt it was during COVID that I started, and I just felt so trapped, and I wanted to like shed that skin and I wanted to scream. And I was like, I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels like that. So let's make it huge so I can like invoke the feeling of shedding this anxious, scared, like self of mine, and also make it into like a place and an installation where people need to scream. Like you have
Mm.
to scream, like just have to let it out and then just, you know, I don't know. And also like like I just felt hugely the snake and dragon energy because at that point I was like actually in Mexico too, and I saw that like the Chinese dragon and their feathered serpent god had this exact same shape and storyline of what they represent. And I was like, and it just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe all these mythical stories are true. Like, how is it possible that like the most ancient mythical creature in Chinese Asian culture is the same as the mythical creature in Aztec and Mayan culture? And I guess I was like, you know what? Like, if everything is, I'm gonna bet everything in it that this is true, and I just like wanted to like make my version like of this and like help all these mythical epicness come to this realm fully in physical shape again. Because I kind of feel it happening. I feel like there's so much like magic and like people just becoming more aware of their powers and their magic and like the power of nature and the mythical stories and the legends. So I'm just like feeling like my part of like bringing all this stuff back and normalize this is by making these installations and talking about it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love the best answer ever. I love
Yeah,
what you said
thank
about
you.
speaking to your body or mind or soul or whatever and just saying, show me what you want to show. That's beautiful. That's just such a beautiful poetic relationship with yourself. That's fantastic. But yeah, I love that also about mythology. Maybe it's true. Dragons, maybe they're true. I mean, you're totally right. Like dragons are they're kind of repeated through, I don't know, almost all cultures, right? I mean, even here in Australia, you've got the rainbow serpent, which was like a creation story. Yeah, it's strange. I'm getting much more interested and intrigued by mythology and ancient stories and what they may actually carry with them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, no, like I think like during when COVID happened and like how society all fell apart, people were just like scrambling because nothing that they were working for, all the capitalistic thing just was like, oh, it was fake. There's nothing in it at all the whole time. And that's why I feel like a lot of people like went back to the ancient stories because I feel like those are way more true and feels better, like, how do I say it? It just feels more real and more like something that people would want to believe in and like fight for and spend their energy in pursuing, I feel
mm,
like, rather than just empty capitalistic things. Because all legendary mythical things is about, you know, kind of like you can always like relate to your relationship to yourself. And if that matters, then you're better off too as a human in this society, this new society that we're trying to build, I
mm.
guess.
What kind of cultural mythologies are you mostly inspired by?
Um, well, like I feel like obviously like I'm in this like serpent dragon thing, but I also feel like in every like what I've came to understand, because when I made it, a lot of people from different parts of the world came and they all had their own version of it. So like
Mm,
for me, like I feel like this is also part of what I do. Like sometimes I just make something and what I love is that it just becomes a mirror to the viewer. So like I don't have a specific story particularly besides like this ancient creature. And I feel like every single person that looks at it has their own version of it. The same way that you were like, oh, there's like a rainbow serpent in Australia. That's like that story that this can represent for you. So I think like as artists, like visual artists specifically, since our gift is creating something visual, like that's how we can like be in service of other people. Like we make stuff and then people can be like, oh, this is exactly how I feel, or this is my story with this, and that's just it, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Again, it's building a relationship with the viewer, right? Or a conversation
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah, to be like, hey, like whatever you feel like when you see this, it's true. That's exactly what it is. Like I don't necessarily want to like push my own stories on other people with the things that I'm making. I just want to like put some guidelines and be like, whatever you feel is true. Just this is about you, like yeah.
Fantastic. You grew up in Belgium, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nice one. How long
Yes, I
did
do.
you live there for?
I think I to the beginning of my
Hmm.
20s.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Yep.
after I graduated, I moved to Amsterdam.
Right. Nice one. That'd be a great city. Love Amsterdam.
Yeah,
And
no, it's super.
yeah. And you studied video game design?
Yeah, so I started with biotechnology first, biochemistry, biotechnology,
Oh wow,
and
cool.
yeah, and then I did game design.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's quite a shift of potential professions from biochemistry to what you're doing now. How did you go with that? How long did you study that for?
I did it for 2 years.
Hmm.
Um, and that's when I realized like, oh, I was like, do I see myself going to a lab every day and like watch something grow forever and then be like, oh, this theory is right or wrong, but I don't know, like, um, yeah, like I love biotechnology and technical because like it's basically just like learning the code of life, and then you can like play with it and
Mm.
adjust it, and then like I love that. That's why I studied it, because I was like, I saw that life was just code, and I was like, I want to learn the code of life. I want to know what we're all made of. But then when in practicality, like when you're in a lab, you have to wait so long for things to grow, or till the results come in of like this thing that you're researching. And I was like, dude, I don't have the patience to do that. Um, and then so like I switched to like game design, which is also like coding, like, but then it's like all digital. So anything I want to like see, I could just like code it and model it, and it would just exist. And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is like so much faster. And I love that anything is possible. So in a way, they sound different, but they're in theory they're very similar, biotechnology and game design. You just
Mm.
learn the code, and then you can create whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, video game design is almost like it's kind of like playing God in a way, isn't it? You're building a universe, you're inhabiting that universe, you're creating and fashioning the
And
character, the people, whatever.
yeah, you make the storyline, you make the gameplay, you make like you create the movements. Like I guess I never thought about that, but yeah, I guess I'm interested in being God.
Yeah, yeah. But you must be very intelligent. You sound, yeah, a very inquisitive brain and mind. Very, yeah, it's awesome. Do you feel like those studying those things informed your art practice? And or even what was the turning point that made you think, you know what, I need to I need to jump all in on art and just start. I mean, you've got a lot of creativity to get out. What was the turning point where you just like, screw this 9 to 5 stuff, I'm going rogue?
Um, I was living in Amsterdam, and I was like in my begin 20s, and I like was working in one of the biggest advertising companies, and I was like, dude, I'm like I was like 23 or something, and I was like looking around. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm working in one of the biggest advertising companies. I'm 23. I have this beautiful house next to Vonleh Park. I have like all my best friends. I have a beautiful partner. And I was like, dude, this is fucked up. This is not like I was like, this doesn't feel right to me. Like I was like, I've done everything in such a perfect way and I never failed. Everything that went kind of like smoothly, and I was like, I don't like this. This should be like the happy ending, but I'm too young to have an happy ending. And I was like, and I felt this like hole in my body too. I was like, I don't even know who I am. Like, I want to, And so I was like, okay, I need to make a big error. I need to make a big mistake. And yeah, I really thought about it. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm 23. If I can like do something crazy for like 3 months, 3 months is nothing compared to the rest of my life. So like I was like, okay, what should I do? And I was like, or save my money and like travel the world, or I move to a place for 3 months and just like see what's up. And so I was like, okay, let's do the second one. And then I like looked at the world map and I was like, okay, which place should I move to and just try things out? And I was like, I could go to LA, I could go to New York, I'd go to Argentina, I could go to Brazil. But then when I hovered over one place specifically, I felt such a rage and such a high emotions. And I was like, okay, I measure things by the amount of emotions, not by positive, negative, just the amount. And because I felt such a huge amount of emotions in this specific country, I was like, we need to go there. We need to go there.
What country was
And
it?
it was Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, that's the place of my roots
All
of my
right. Yep.
parents. Yeah, so because like I'm born in Belgium, but my parents are both from Hong Kong, and like that's how I was raised. I was raised very strictly Chinese, and that's why I started holding such a huge grudge against my own culture because I tied it together with like you know like being limited in all senses and forms. And I was like, and I've been since I left Belgium and I was in Amsterdam, I was like trying to avoid anything that has to do with my culture. And so like when I decided to like quit my job and move, I was like, okay, I think it's time for you to like go face all your traumas over there and see what's up. And so I moved to Hong Kong. And I was like the first time where I didn't have a job or a teacher or like a mom who tell me to do stuff. And I also honestly I had so many interests. Like I was like, obsessed with animation. I would like, my 2D stuff, drawing, painting. But then I also had this list of things that when I was working, I had this list of things that I wanted to try out. And one of them was like graffiti. And and but yeah, so wait, the question is like how did I start doing full on art
No, no,
thing?
that's fine. Don't worry about the question. Just keep going.
Yeah, oh I mean like yeah, like the thing is like, like when you move to a country and where you don't know anyone, where the culture is like kind of like foreign to you somehow, or like super triggering, and like you don't have anyone to tell you what to do, I fell into a really deep depression. And then
Hmm.
because I was like just so suddenly just alone with myself, and I think I've never have been in that situation before. There was no distraction, no people to hang out with that like no, everything was like, just me with me, and I was like, whoa, and like with and all my trauma from growing up, and I was like, oh, what the fuck, and then like I was okay, I was like still making animations, but I was still going crazy, and I started going through a list of things that I wanted to do because I was like, let's try everything, because now we have the time, and then one of them was graffiti, and when I went out to do graffiti for the first time, that's when I was like suddenly that's when my life changed. That's when I went all out, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that it the moment I finished my mural in this dark alley in Hong Kong, I felt like I could breathe again. I felt like all my depression, all this anxious, crazy voice in my head suddenly just like stopped. And it was just like blissfulness. Like, and I think that's when I was like, no, fuck, this is it. This is what I want. This is it and nothing else. And then I just got super obsessed with graffiti. And I would just like, just, yeah, do it all the time, anywhere I could. And yeah, I guess that's when I went full out for art.
That's awesome. What did you paint?
Since I was going through like my childhood stuff, I was like envision myself as a child when I was going through stuff, and I started building a relationship with her, and I was like, hey, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you. And she was like, I love Sailor Moon. Remember how much I love Sailor Moon? So I painted Sailor Moon. Because I was
Great.
like, this is for you. Yeah, I was like, because I was like trying to be such an adult before, like I'm on my job and like paying taxes and blah, blah. And I was just living life in a kind of fearful way of like not doing anything wrong, like judging my child self. And then I was like, okay, let's make time for her, and yeah, I just let her guide me to everything.
Sailor Moon guided you. That's awesome. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened from that transformation? You painted this mural. It was illegally, right? Just graffiti. You didn't ask for permission. Yep. So you've
Yeah.
done that, and then I guess you're able to untangle the kind of the webs in your mind, and then what happened? How did your transformation unfold?
Well, I'm still going through it. Like, and I
You're
think
going
that's the beautiful.
strong. Going
Yeah,
very
like, oh
strong.
my gosh, like you would think that we would run out of things and we would get bored, but there's like, but then it's like, oh, but I keep changing too. Every day I keep changing. So then my art is like, okay, how did you change today? How are you feeling today? And then slowly they just keep evolving because I evolve. Like, so the transformation is still full on going, and I'm so excited still.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, yeah. But
When when did you get so
yeah.
brave? Like you're very creatively brave, which I just love. There's everything's big, everything's like all encompassing and very interactive. Where did that come from? That
The
is that just
interact
just the bravery with your creations. Everything's big, everything's multi medium, you're doing costume design, you're doing giant sculptures, you're doing giant murals, the size of multi-stories. Was that a slow process, or did you just kind of dive into that straight away?
um well, I mean, well, of course, when I was doing graffiti, they're quite limited in size, but I was like definitely following like on the internet people doing big murals, and I was like, oh my gosh, like look how huge, and look at like, because like I love spray paint, and then like seeing them do big scale work, I was like, dude, I want to do that. um but yeah, so what happened is like I was doing graffiti in Hong Kong, and then I started doing murals too, which was like, yeah, that's a long story, but like, yeah, then I just started doing murals. And then, well, yeah, I guess I could tell you the part. Okay, anyway, so like I was doing, like when I first moved to Hong Kong, like my credit cards didn't work and had $0. But then I wouldn't like moving to Hong Kong from like 0 to 1 year, like, and I went through this journey of doing graffiti, starting doing murals, doing gallery shows, and then suddenly, in like within 1 year, I got invited to paint the Facebook office in Hong Kong, and
Oh
I was
wow.
just like, yeah, it was just like from like not even painting murals or doing graffiti to like doing graffiti to paint, getting invited to like paint the Facebook office. And then, but all the walls were still very small. And once I finished the mural, my Facebook mural, I was like, you know what? This went too easy. Let's go for it. And I was like, you know what a real challenge is? You know, this Instagram thing that you've been like looking at all those people's work. Most people's work that you really enjoy is from the States. So maybe you should go check it out there, even though you don't know anyone there. It's like, you know, just go and you, with your Facebook money and see what's up. So I bought a ticket to the States, and then because that's also like where the bigger murals and all the biggest murals I see is like mostly from there too. And I was like, okay, let's go and let's just, you know, see what's gonna happen if you go there and just spend your money on paint and just paint stuff. And yeah, that's kind of how it went. And then before I know it, I was like in New York doing bigger, like 2 floor buildings. And then before I know it, I just started getting to know more people. And then I went to Hawaii, and then they were like, hey, you ever been on a lift? And I was like, no. And then, no, I say, of course, I said, yes, of course. And then, you know, so that's how it kind of started. And I did something in Hawaii with Powwow and Jasper. And then I met some other people there, and they're like, hey, you want to go to Phoenix and paint a building over there? And I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course I've done big buildings. Yeah, of course. Sure. You know? And it just like, I said yes to everything, and of course, and no problem. And the world just got bigger and bigger and more. And before you know it, it was just like, of course, I do 7 floor buildings in 4 days. Yeah, easy. Like it just like, you know, 10 years later, still one of my favorite things to do.
So
Like
you've
I
been,
just love the scale.
yeah, yeah, I know there's something just incredible about working at a large scale. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost sometimes it's even easier because you don't have to get so bogged down on detail, you know? You can just you can move your whole body.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so much better than being in the studio sometimes. Well, apples and oranges, but you know, both are good. But yeah, I do like moving the body when you're painting.
yeah. It's everything. It's like moving your body, you're wearing your headphones with your favorite music, you're driving a giant robot around, you're in the sky, you have the best view, like, you know, like, oh my gosh, like, and you can do whatever you want. You just play and you dance and you paint, and then you come back down and you're tired. Like, food just tastes better when you're tired. Like, and then you know that everyone in the community, they're like literally the coolest people ever, because everybody like is passionate about painting, which is a passion, which is like your soul, like, you know. So it's just incredible. Like I love everything about it. And then you meet the community, you can see how people react to it, the people that live with it, you know, like you can meet them, you can see them, you can hear their stories. Like it just fills in all the boxes of things that I love in life. Like, you know, I just, yeah, yeah, everything.
So you've been living pretty much nomadically kind of since Hong Kong?
Yes, yeah,
Wow. How do you cope with that? That's not for everyone.
well, I mean, you know, like I just like I don't know anything else by now, you know. I lived on my suitcase for the last like 11 years, and
11 years.
yeah, yeah.
Far out.
And I
That's that's a lot. Good on
yeah,
you.
but I think now I'm definitely since COVID, I learned to slow down, and it was very necessary to be more in one place, you know, like and be able to like spread like my stuff a little bit more bigger than my suitcase, even though eventually have, when I move, I do have to cut everything again. Like right now, oh my gosh, I just make so much stuff. But then in the end, I'll just be like, okay, let's just get rid of all these paintings and things. Hopefully they all sell, and then just me and my suitcase again. On to the next place.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, no, it's kind of I love it. You know, I love the feeling of like everything that I need fits in one suitcase, and when I'm on a plane to my next project, I love that like my power is like in my hands, in my brain, you know, like these are the things and everything I need and want, I can just make it with these guys, you
Yeah.
know?
Everything you
And
need is just you. That's so good.
yeah, it's kind of I like it.
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't mind to have a house, but let's see whenever that happens.
Yeah, you've got the rest of your life for that. What where are some of the more interesting places that that your art has taken you around the world? Like some of the places that you just never thought you'd be, or even some of the more the stranger kind of places that you've ended up working.
I think this place is pretty strange.
Yeah, it looks rad. That is like
Like
that's my jam. Just in the middle of the desert, cactuses everywhere. Yeah.
like in the middle of nowhere, just all cacti. And then like you know, like and here, like I learned how to ride a motorcycle, and there's just like all mountain ranges around, and the ocean is right there. Like every day when the sunset, I just like go on my motorbike and just like look at the mountains change color and all the fields of cacti, and it just like endless nature and the sky and oh, just everything is just so beautiful. Yeah, and then everything here has spikes. Like everything here has spikes. The plants have spikes, the animals have spikes. Like I don't know, it just like aesthetically fully my jam. Like it's so cool. Like I don't know. And I
Your
love
sculpture
that.
looks spiky.
Eh?
Your sculpture looks
Yeah.
spiky.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. Like, you know, like I made it based on the things that I found.
Mm,
So like also like cause like the way like so like when you go to the beach here, you find like the like oh my gosh, let me show you.
please.
Like you just find like these crazy spiky bones. Like
Wow. What is that? It's a
every
spine of something?
yeah, like giant spine. Like I just brought like the bigger pieces outside with my sculpture, but these are just like giant spines that are laying around everywhere. Like
So cool.
yeah, like they have like this like they have a lot of like puffer fish on the beach too.
Wow.
And petrified, like mummified. Like
Mm.
everything is spiky. And then I'm just like on the beach, like grabbing everything, like the most precious treasure ever. Like it's beautiful. Like you just can't believe, like, oh my god, like look at this. This is a dried cacti
Oh, they're
skeleton.
so cool. I've seen some of those in the States. It's trippy as, isn't it?
I
Looks like
know. I'm just
looks
like,
like a
okay,
skeleton.
yeah, everything is just a skeleton and spiky. Like, how'd you guys know?
Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen also some of these again beautiful installations that you do. You know, these kind of beast-like faces. You did this incredible one. I think it was at Super Chief Gallery in Miami, and
Mm-hmm,
these big teeth
mm-hmm.
are like tusks that are just coming down and going up to the ceiling. It's just so involved. Love them.
Kind
But also
of.
that I've seen that you have also kind of dabbled in the world of ceremony, which I love as well. I've seen a few different kind of ceremonial, I don't know, healing workshops or something in front of your work. I've seen you've gotten involved in some kind of, I think it was called, I think you called it ancestral channeling or something like that.
Mhm,
Tell us
mhm.
about the ceremonial aspects that you've dabbled in with your work.
Well, so the universe just brought me to like after like during COVID, I got kicked out of the States and I was trying to go back to Hong Kong and they didn't let me in. And then somehow they're like, just go to Mexico. Just go to Mexico. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, you know, to go to Mexico, I go to Mexico. And before you know it, I was like living in an ayahuasca house in the middle of the
right.
jungle.
Perfect.
Like it just something that happened organically. And like and that's when I built my first like dragon serpent sculpture because I felt that calling to do it. And I guess like it wasn't, I didn't think that it was a ritual yet, but I just like felt like anything that I feel, I'm sure that like any someone else is feeling something similar and that they would want to share it in the same way that I want to do it. So I did like the screaming and the ritual of like burning your old skin in the fire thing in front of the dragon that I built. And and after that also like a lot of like tribes from different parts of South America would come and share their medicine, like their version of ayahuasca there with the sculpture. So I just saw so much versions of ceremonies and rituals. I learned so much then. And I could tell like sometimes people just want to have something written out for them so we can do it together. And it just doing it, I feel like it healed me so much. So I was like, okay, I and especially since like all my work is a self-reflection, is a self-meditation, and there's lessons to be taken out of it. I was like, why not share these lessons and tools that I've learned with the people who are interested. So and especially yeah, like I think like my trauma is with my ancestors, is with my family, is with me. So that's what I'm like, okay, this is what I'm focusing on. Because this is my body and I work so much with my body and listen to my body that I'm like, okay, let's actively work on this. And it has been incredible. And I love sharing it with people who are interested in doing something similar, you know, connect with their ancestors, connect like with their traumas of their ancestors just to like feel better in this world and be able to be a better person
Mm.
that is not easily not so fast to be triggered by things and not as angry.
Wow.
So
It sounds like following your creativity has cracked your soul open and just created a giant sail for the universe to take you wherever it wants. And it seems to be providing perfectly for you. I mean, who ends up living in an ayahuasca house? That's amazing.
no,
Was it
well, I guess I'm living here now.
how long were you living there for?
A year.
Wow. How many ayahuasca
Yeah,
sessions did you do?
a lot.
I bet. I bet.
A lot.
Had you
It
done any
wasn't just
before
like
that?
us. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did one.
Mm.
Like I think like at that point, like 3 years ago. But then yeah, like 2020, that was like the year where I was like, I definitely tried all the possible psychedelics.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Um, but then, but then, which means that like in the end, like what I heard was like, hey, Cara, you good.
Yeah.
You heard the message, hang up the phone, and you go practice. Because what's the point? What's the
Hmm.
point? You're here to be human. You're like now we've showed you so much stuff already. We don't want to see you back here again. Go and do the work. And I was like, oh, okay then. And so like I haven't done any psychedelics since then because I'm just like, you know, I want to be like, okay, it's in my body already. Now practice it without being under influence of anything. Practice it, hone it in, and that's what I've been trying to do or
Living
doing.
living in an ayahuasca house for a year and doing countless sessions.
That's crazy.
How what do you think you learnt in that time?
What I've learned, you know what I've learned? Like, because I thought this maybe my journey is to be in the psychedelic realm. Maybe my journey is in the healing psychedelic realm because I'm like I'm very good at this. But then what I've really learned from that eventually was like, hey, you were already doing what you're meant to do here. You're here to create things and create universe and create worlds. So just do that. That's why you're here. And I was like, okay. I think that's one of the biggest things I learned for myself, that I was like, okay, I'm here to like make things instead of like being only in the psychedelic realm. But besides that, I've also learned that like another lessons that I learned was that like people can like do all the ceremony possible, like for years and years and years, do it every month, whatever. But like if they don't actually take it in the lessons and see, like they can still be the same kind of asshole. Like for
Totally.
me, when people say like, oh, I've done like a million, like five, like I drank 6 cups of ayahuasca and like with this kind of person, like the same kind of like asshole braggery is also in the healing circles. And
Totally.
that's what like it really like pricked my bubble of like, oh, like yeah, assholes are everywhere. And I was like, that's why I don't necessarily need to be here. Because
Mm.
it's the same shit that bothers me in the real world is here as well. Even though everybody proclaims it's about healing, blah blah blah, but sometimes some people still just do it for the fame and the money and the brag record. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't need to be here, you know.
Hmm.
This, so I think that was a big lesson. And I want to say something positive too.
No, I totally relate to that. I think, you know,
But
it's such a.
I think people should know that, like of course
Mhm.
there's so much beautiful moments shared and so much beautiful visions and so much like feeling of like belonging. But then I can tell when people get out of the medicine, they can fall back into some stuff if they don't work on it. So for me, like I think what I've learned is just like I respect people that really put in the work and they don't even need to be on like have had any of the medicine work. Just someone that tries to be better every day is has my biggest respect, I
Yeah.
feel.
Hmm.
Like yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not gonna solve your problems, are they? They can show you your problems. They can show you objectively from another perspective, from an outsider's perspective. They can inspire you. They can point you in the direction that the work needs to be done. But ultimately, the work needs to be done, and
Mhm.
that's the grind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, isn't the spiritual ego the funniest one of them all? It's the most. I'd rather a guy in a suit with a Bluetooth in his ear and a coffee cup, and be like, yeah, cool, whatever. But like when someone's like drenched in beads, long hair, and comparing, oh, you've only done 7 sessions? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speak to me
Oh,
when you've done 43. You're just like,
yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Encounter those people, you
Hmm.
know. Let's not get triggered. But that's the lesson for me, hey? That's the lesson for us, hey? To just be like, remember your lessons. This is the practice. Don't judge. Just be like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, so but you dabble in it too? You're interested in it?
Love it. Love
What's
the
your
stuff. I've only done ayahuasca a couple of times, and I haven't properly, gone deep on ayahuasca yet, which I'd be very keen to. But yeah, I've definitely had a good old crack at all the other ones, pretty much. Uh,
yeah, like it's fun, hey? Like you do all the other stuff, and then suddenly you're like, let's go that way because
yeah,
that sounds really extreme.
it's
How deep can I go?
totally. I don't know. There's something so beautiful about I don't know, different chemicals and substances I feel have different, obviously different effects, but sometimes, particularly with like DMT or ayahuasca, there definitely seems like there is some kind of um, being or spirit or perhaps feminine energy that comes through a lot more than other ones, which like I've had some experiences. I mean, so many incredibly beautiful experiences, but every now and then it'll actually show me something that maybe might be a bit ugly about myself, that I
Mhm.
might need to work on. But the message is delivered with like love. It's not a hard, mean um, message, which I might sometimes get like, that's why I don't like weed. Sometimes I'll smoke weed and I'll just like self-analyze all the bad things I've done in a real negative way. But yeah, DMT or ayahuasca seems to deliver it with a some kind of love behind it. I feel at least.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great place to be when you feel that.
Mm,
Like it means that like, because like before the first time I drank it, I was definitely like terrified and I couldn't feel the love. But then
mm.
the second time, I think like because I worked so much on the topic love, I could feel like right before it hit, like I was like scared again. I was like, oh my gosh. But then suddenly, like right before it really like hit, I heard the voice say, I love you, Cara. And then suddenly I could feel like the aura, like this whole like pink thing covering my body. And I knew that was love. And then it showed me the most hardcore shit ever.
Like what?
Huh?
Like what?
Oh, the world being
Mm,
completely destroyed and like, like super grim stuff. But since I had my suit of love around me, it was just like, hey, we're showing you super dark, dark shit that seems very hopeless, but you're in your cover of love. So just know we're showing you hard shit with love. And I was like, oh, cool. It
wow.
the love feeling is, and I think like that's something that is really important. That's something important that I'm trying to take away from that experience, that I need to see everything with love. I want to
Perfect.
feel like we're there, but like, the memory is to be like, okay, cover yourself, remember that you are covered with love, imagine it, and just be like that all the time, you know? So everything's just better when you know that you have a shield of love around you, you know? Like, yeah, and I guess like I definitely became more aware that everything has spirit.
Mm. I,
Like, because you drink it, like I could feel the spirit of the plants. And I think like before I had an inkling, yeah, I guess everything is alive. But then with the ayahuasca and the medicine and just mushrooms, it's like, oh, it's alive and it has its own personality and you can talk to it. And like I just started like creating a more spiritual bond with the foods and the waters and the elements, like everything around me. I'm just more aware that they are real entities,
mhm.
um, that I respect them, and I'm so grateful that we have them.
Yeah,
And we
totally.
shouldn't take it for granted. We shouldn't take water for granted. I think.
Hmm. Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, totally. I just did a 5 day water fast where I didn't eat food for 5 days and I only drank water. And it was a bit grueling, but this week I found exactly what you're just saying, just kind of clicked with me. Just finding a new relationship with food and respect for food and love for food because you don't know what you got till it's gone, you know? I think that's the only way I learn anything is like getting kicked up the ass with some kind of extreme can't just eat healthy. I have to starve myself and then reevaluate my entire relationship with food before I eat healthy. Um,
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's so hardcore. But yeah, we just spoiled brats. Like we're so comfortable all the time and we don't even know until something falls apart, and I love that you did that. Wow, you must what was the first thing you ate?
just soup. I just like eased back into food because I think like yeah, your body probably will freak out. Well, I was told that your body will freak out if you just go back to normal diet. So yeah, just like bone broth and like
Oh,
carrots and potatoes and mushrooms and celery. Just like simple, clean food. But
I
yeah,
love bone broth. I love bone broth.
and simple pleasures, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just the essence of everything, and then I just love broths,
Yeah,
like,
totally. Same.
ooh, you're making me hungry.
Did you feel that all this journey work that you've done with all the medicines, did that have much of an effect on your artwork, or did it just kind of reinforce what you're doing? I mean, you seem like someone who's just pouring out with creativity anyway, you know, probably.
Mm, well, this is like, oh my gosh, well, we should talk about this, and hey, like, I think it was hard, because I felt because I was doing, been on such a journey for 1 year, I was like, I know I was a different person, but I don't know who I was yet. Because I was just like on so much psychedelics all the time and then coming back and blah, 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 blah. And when I came out of it, I just knew I was a different person. And I actually didn't, I had struggles with my art because since my art is me, I was like, but who am I now? So like I felt like I guess I was going to where I don't really know what I wanted to paint.
Hmm.
I was like, I guess I was kind of like known for the specific type of murals that I was doing. And then suddenly I was like, yeah, but is that, do you resonate with that still? And I don't know, like I like maybe it seems like I was pouring a lot, doing a lot of like visual work, but I definitely didn't feel like that when I was going through it all. I felt like I was like, dude, I was like terrified. I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, can I just do something completely different? Like, I don't know. Like, that's when I also started doing performance too. And I was like, wait, am I shying too far away from all the work I've been doing for 10 years? Like, should I, you know, I don't know. Like, I definitely went, or maybe I'm still right now going to it still, because it takes time to settle and get to know yourself again after so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and I think maybe like I'm sure everybody went through a lot of personal who am I now after COVID when everything collapsed and you had so much time to be with yourself again. Like, yeah, I feel like I don't know. um like even like now I'm making all these paintings and like just kind of be like, okay, this looks so different than what I used to make. And I'm like, does this feel okay to you that I'm doing something completely different? Is what I'm asking myself. Like, will this affect how my followers or people that like my work, will they still like me? Will they like this? Like, will they like it that I do performance now and make things that don't have faces, because now I'm making these sculptures that don't have, like I used to mostly do faces and hands because I love portraits and I love hands. And now they're not as handsy and facey anymore. They're just like shapes and stuff. And I'm dabbling in colors now too. And I'm just like, will people like it? Like, is this me? Do I feel, I don't know. I definitely feel like I'm going through a phase where I'm like, should I make work and just keep exploring who I feel like I am, or should I just make myself into a brand and seek for more financial stability? Because I definitely feel like observing from where I'm sitting, like some people, they just became a full-on brand
Yeah.
with their work,
Hmm.
and people gain huge popularity with being a brand because I guess we do still live in a society where people want to be able to like be like, oh, this person represent this. If you're looking for someone like this is the person to go to. But I feel like with me, because like I'm like all over the place. I do so much stuff, and my work keeps on changing shape and colors and everything, and I'm just like, is this smart? I don't know.
Well, from the outside, we love it. We love it. You know, if you're
Yeah,
wondering, like, will they
but
like it?
is it
Yeah, people
confusing?
love it. But I don't know. It's I don't know. It's so relatable, and it's interesting to hear that from someone like yourself who just does so much, so many different mediums that the that kind of creative struggle within is I feel like pretty universal across most artists, especially when you spend 10 years or something building up a style, an identity, and your identity gets really attached to that style. That's Jack. He does colorful landscapes. So that's Caratoes. She does murals with hands and portraits and this kind of stuff. And to break out of that is the bravery of of staying true to your creative side. And it's really scary. And I at least I find it can be really scary. I am often trying to dabble in different directions, things that I won't exhibit, but it is hard to carve out that voice. I don't know. At least I feel that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely feeling like that exactly, like especially now. Because everything I'm doing right now doesn't even look related to the things I was doing before.
I
But
don't think
maybe
that
that's
I
it,
don't think it
you know?
matters. I don't think it matters. But I also do think that it does still look like very much you. It does look very much your
Yeah.
style. Um, and I think also that, like the way you're doing, you're just learning a new medium. You're welding, you're cutting metal. Like last year I did end of last year I did just a clay building, hand building workshop, not for any particular reason, just to start thinking. I feel like I could think more freely once I start doing something. If someone says
Mhm.
make a metal sculpture, I probably won't know what to make. But if someone just gets me to start cutting or bending or whatever, then I'll be like, oh, that could be this or that could be that. Like the very act of doing for me does stimulate creativity and idea generation.
Yeah. Oh
Not
yeah.
the other way around.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I love playing with things and figuring out how things work. I love when I don't know the rules and just be like, oh, eventually it will come to something.
Yeah.
Like I just can feel my body's having fun when she's trying new things out. Like the feel of exploration is so exciting to me. Like that's why I'm like, okay, even though I don't think I could be a brand that does one same thing forever. I'm just too excited. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited with new stuff. Like, yeah,
Love
and
that.
I don't know.
You
Yeah,
just whenever
yeah.
you're feeling
Anything I'm
this
doing right now, I've never done.
well, when you're feeling this doubt or not sure about the new direction, just take that love cloak that the ayahuasca gods gave you and dive into the unknown, right?
Well, yeah. Now you said about the love cloak. I forgot about that. I should put it on. Hey,
Totally.
let's bring out the Google love cloak.
It's yours
So it
forever.
doesn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank God I'm too busy to like bore you too much.
Yeah.
Because I'm too excited.
How much longer have you
Yeah.
got in the desert building
So
this
is
big
this is
metal sculpture? Oh yeah,
oh
yeah.
it's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, you would
Thanks.
love it here.
I would love it there. Deserts are my jam. Like
Oh
I love
my
it. Yeah.
God.
That's Australian desert, Lake Mungo.
That's, and you painted at live? You saw that?
I went there, took photos, and brought it back to my studio.
Um, No, I feel like this is what I'm doing right now too. I feel like this place is so beautiful. I just want to paint how this place feels to me.
Hmm. Yep.
Like kind of like, and I think like before I was trying to do that, but since I had the limitation of wanting to have a face in it and being like my work is black and white, so I didn't venture out too much with moods and emotions by
Hmm.
colors. That like right now, since every single tone of color I'm surrounded with, I'm like, yo, you're my favorite new color. You're my new favorite color. And I'm just like, I wanna encapsulate that. That's why, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, but
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you so much. Yeah, color's a language, isn't it? It's a language of expression, I feel like it conveys emotion. And yeah, just love it. I love color. It's
Yeah.
more than meets the eye, I think.
Yeah, who knew? I mean, I really didn't until now. That I'm ready for emotions. Like, like I'm ready for emotions, and I guess colors are kind of inside you. But yeah, so I'm here for I think another month.
Right. Fantastic. Big project.
Yeah, no, I think I was slightly like, oh my gosh, I wish it would go faster, but I think it's just like the universe telling me like, hey, chill the fuck out. Just take it
Yep.
in because it's beautiful. You love it here. You're learning something new every day. Why would you want to go somewhere else when school is right here, right now? Like, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it.
Love it. I'll be
Yeah.
watching your stories and watching how this unfolds because it's so fun to watch it all come together. It's inspiring to watch artists just jump out of their comfort zone and learn new skills and makes me just want to do the same. Um,
Yeah.
Caratoes, thank you so much for coming on and giving me your time and having such a great conversation. Absolutely love your work and yeah, your work ethic is nuts. You are just like it's crazy. Just nonstop outpour of just magical creations. Your
Oh,
installations and performances in particular, I just love. So playful, so fun, so magical. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It rules.
thank you so much. Thank you so. Oh, actually, can I just say one last thing that
Of
like
course.
I forgot this part. Like I used to work from trauma,
Oh,
and
right.
now I don't want to work from trauma anymore. Now I'm like working from hope, and
Mm,
that's new, and
right.
that's like why I'm like doing the colors and trying to like refining myself in my expression of my work because I'm like, how does hope feel like? How does hope look like for you? Because before I was also always like, this is my trauma and I'm hurt, and how do I solve this hurt? But now I actually want to be more like, I want to plant seeds of hope. I want to plant seeds of beautifulness. Like it's like I'm creating in a different initiative, and that's very new, and I'm trying to figure it out. And yeah, I guess that's something that is important to that.
You know,
But yeah, thank you so much for me.
that's a really beautiful thing because like I think we all operate on our life scripts, right? Our story that we tell ourselves. And
Mhm.
if trauma becomes the story that you so closely identify with, and it's also a source of creativity, which
Yeah, huge
translates to
story.
survive, which actually translates to survival, that translates
Yeah,
to earning a dollar and survival. The
yeah.
addiction to your trauma story
Oh,
is a matter of survival. So to be able to let go of that and actually rewrite the life script that you're holding on to is probably one of life's biggest spiritual overcomings and lessons that you can do. So that's beautiful. Love
thank
that.
you for seeing it. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I was like, I'm done with this trauma stuff. Like, let's let's if I'm in charge, let's see what you would do if I was in charge of everything. How would it look like? You know,
Mm.
so like. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for having me. Thank
No,
you
thank
for
you.
being with me. I like. I love that we had this little time capsule where we're both going through stuff right now, and hopefully, next conversation we'll have things figured out more.
Totally. It's all one big journey of unfolding, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it great?
How do people find you? What's your Instagram or what's the best way people can see your work and follow your metalwork journey?
I am actually only on Instagram.
Yep.
And they can find me under my name, Caratoes, Caratoes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, and thank you everyone for listening. Have a magical day. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.